The Washington quarter dollar is one of the most recognized and historically significant coins in American history, representing not only the nation's rich numismatic heritage but also its enduring respect for one of its greatest leaders, George Washington, whose portrait has appeared on this quarter since 1932. The idea of featuring Washington on a coin was born during preparations to commemorate his 200th birthday, as the U.S. Treasury and Congress planned to honor him with a circulating coin that would symbolize both patriotism and continuity. The design competition of 1931 brought forth numerous proposals, but it was sculptor John Flanagan's portrait, based on Jean-Antoine Houdon's 1785 bust of Washington, that was ultimately chosen for its classical yet dignified appearance. When the first Washington quarters were struck in 1932, they were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, with a weight of 6.25 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, setting a standard that would endure for decades. The initial issues, particularly those minted in Denver and San Francisco bearing the D and S mint marks, became instantly collectible because of their low mintages, with only 436,800 struck in Denver and 408,000 in San Francisco, making the 1932 D and 1932 S quarters key dates highly sought after today. As the Great Depression gripped the nation, few coins were saved, and this scarcity is one reason these early Washington quarters are now worth hundreds to thousands of dollars, especially in high grades. Over time, the Washington quarter evolved alongside American history itself, from silver to clad metal, from a simple eagle reverse to complex state-themed and national park designs, yet the face of George Washington has remained a constant symbol of national identity. From 1932 to 1964, these coins contained 90% silver, but rising silver prices and the Coinage Act of 1965 ended that era, introducing the copper-nickel clad composition still used today. The transition year 1965 is crucial, as a few rare Washington quarters were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets, creating one of the most famous and valuable transitional errors in American coinage. These silver 1965 quarters can sell for over $5,000 to $10,000 if authenticated. Collectors love searching through rolls, hoping to find one of these elusive errors. Another interesting period came during World War II when metal shortages challenged the mint, yet the Washington quarter continued to be produced in silver, preserving its integrity and trust among the public. The early 1940s saw massive production runs, but even among them, hidden gems exist. For example, the 1943 S quarter in MS-68 grade sold for over $25,000 at auction. The Washington quarter design remained unchanged until 1975, when the nation prepared for the bicentennial celebration. The 1776 to 1976 quarters featured a special reverse design showing a colonial drummer and a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars, designed by Jack L. Ahr. These bicentennial quarters were minted in enormous numbers, but collectors still hunt for the 40% silver versions struck for special collector sets. Today, these silver bicentennial quarters remain popular keepsakes, symbolizing American pride. Beginning in 1999, the State Quarters program transformed coin collecting by featuring each U.S. state with unique reverse artwork, inspiring millions of Americans to collect coins for the first time. This program, lasting until 2008, revived the hobby, followed by the D.C. and U.S. Territories quarters in 2009, then the America the Beautiful quarters from 2010 to 2021, which showcased national parks and historic sites. Each series expanded the Washington quarter story, turning it into a visual timeline of American culture. Modern collectors now look for error coins such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, and missing clad layers that can transform an ordinary quarter into a valuable treasure. Among the most famous is the 1950 D over S mintmark variety, a fascinating result of mintmark repunching, valued from hundreds to thousands depending on condition. Another standout is the 1942 double die obverse, where the motto "In God We Trust" appears doubled. The excitement of searching for such varieties keeps coin hunting alive today. When discussing silver content, many collectors treasure the pre-1965 Washington quarters because each contains 0.1808 troy ounces of silver, meaning even their melt value can be significant when silver prices rise. However, true numismatic value comes from rarity, condition, and demand. For instance, a 1932 D quarter graded MS-66 once sold for more than $140,000, and the 1932 S in MS-67 sold above $35,000. These early mint marks are a cornerstone for any Washington quarter collection. During the 1950s, production soared as the post-war economy boomed, yet quality sometimes suffered, creating interesting weak strikes and planchet flaws that later fascinated collectors. By 1964, the final year of silver quarters, the U.S. Mint produced an astonishing 1.2 billion coins across all mints, ensuring the end of an era would not bring immediate shortage. When clad coinage began in 1965, people hoarded older silver coins, and to this day, junk silver bags often include Washington quarters from 1932 to 1964 as tangible silver investments. As time passed, the Mint adapted designs to keep the series fresh. In 1992, the Silver Proof set brought back 90% silver quarters for collectors. Later, the 2005 Silver Proof Kansas and Minnesota quarters introduced crisp frosted finishes that elevated their visual beauty. The 2019 mintmark quarters from the West Point Mint marked another historic milestone. They were the first quarters ever struck with a mintmark and released into circulation, limited to just 2 million per design. These mint quarters instantly became modern rarities, with pristine uncirculated examples fetching $30 to $200 depending on the design and grade. Additionally, error coins from these issues have been reported, such as die cracks and weak strikes, enhancing their allure. The Washington quarter's longevity also reflects America's changing identity. The 1930s patriotism, 1960s modernization, and 2000s technological innovation all embedded into its evolving look. The 1999 to 2008 state quarter program itself created unprecedented public enthusiasm, with over 147 million Americans collecting at least one coin. Among them, rare die clashes, missing clad layers, and off-metal strikes from this era can reach thousands of dollars in auctions. One notable example is the 2004 Wisconsin quarter with an extra leaf on the ear of corn, the extra high leaf and extra low leaf varieties, both highly valuable, often worth $200 to $1,500 depending on grade. Similarly, the 2005 Minnesota double die reverse quarter, featuring multiple tree doubling, commands strong collector interest. While most Washington quarters are common, passion lies in the pursuit, the thrill of searching through circulation or coin rolls hoping to find a rare date or error that transforms a 25-cent piece into a prize worth hundreds or thousands. For serious numismatists, grading plays a crucial role. Coins graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC often command record prices because of their luster and pristine surfaces. For example, a 1956 Washington quarter in MS67 Plus sold for over $9,000. Collectors also study subtle design details, such as the sharpness of Washington's hair curls, the clarity of the eagle's feathers, and the strike depth on the motto E pluribus unum. As we move deeper into the fascinating world of the Washington quarter dollar, the modern era reveals a treasure trove of surprises, rare varieties, and breathtaking auction records that have made this coin one of the most studied and beloved in U.S. numismatic history. The story that began in 1932 has not only survived decades of change, but has evolved into a vibrant collecting pursuit spanning generations. To truly understand why the Washington quarter continues to captivate millions, we must look closely at its hidden rarities, minting anomalies, and high-grade survivors that command staggering values in the coin market. Beginning with the silver years, the 1932 to 1964 quarters are always in the spotlight for their intrinsic metal content and scarcity in uncirculated condition. Collectors know that coins struck before 1965 were made of 90% silver, which gives them both historical and bullion value, yet the real excitement comes from the few coins that escape the minting process with striking errors or rare die varieties. Among these, the 1932 D and 1932 S remain the holy grail pieces, as discussed earlier, but others like the 1940 D double die obverse and the 1943 S doubled motto varieties are highly sought after. The 1943 S, for example, displays doubling in God We Trust, and high-grade examples can fetch several $1,000s at auction. Even mid-20th century issues like the 1950 D over S show intricate details from repunched mint marks, making them exciting targets for collectors who enjoy examining coins under magnification. As the series transitioned to clad composition in 1965, a new age of minting technology also gave rise to new varieties of errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and even wrong metal errors that today command massive premiums. Perhaps one of the most dramatic discoveries in the Washington quarter's timeline is the 1965 silver transitional error quarter. These few coins were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets instead of the new copper-nickel clad ones, making them extremely valuable. In one notable auction, a 1965 silver quarter in MS62 sold for over $8,000, while gem uncirculated examples have exceeded $12,000. Transitional errors like these bridge two historical eras, and their rarity makes them prized among both silver stackers and serious collectors. The Washington quarter also became a centerpiece during the 1976 bicentennial celebration, and while millions were produced, the special silver-clad collector editions, minted in San Francisco with an S mark, remain especially desirable when preserved in pristine condition. A 1976 S silver proof quarter in PR70 deep cameo grade has sold for as high as $6,000, showing that even modern-era coins can achieve impressive values. Beyond composition and mint marks, collectors also pursue the elusive 1970 S-proof quarter struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter, an extraordinary minting error that blends international coinage history. One such coin sold at heritage auctions for over $35,000, a price that stunned even seasoned collectors. These wrong planchet errors, where coins are struck on metal intended for another denomination or country, are among the most visually striking and valuable errors in the entire series. The 1977 D quarter with a broad strike or off-center error is another favorite for collectors who love imperfections that tell a unique story of mint machinery and human oversight. As we moved into the 1980s, a new set of varieties emerged, notably the 1983 double die reverse where the word United States of America and E pluribus unum show strong doubling. These errors are quite scarce and can sell from $200 to over $1,500 depending on the clarity of the doubling and the coin's grade. Similarly, the 1982 P quarter stands out because it was the first year without mint marks on Philadelphia-struck coins, confusing new collectors but now serving as an important numismatic marker. The 1982 P also has a no mint mark weak strike variety that has been recorded selling for over $2,000 in gem condition. As the 1990s arrived, coinage technology improved, but so did the fascination with special finishes. The 1992 S silver proof quarters reintroduced 90% silver for collectors, and perfect PR70 examples of early proof issues from the 1990s often sell for $100 to $300 each. Yet, nothing reignited America's love for coin collecting quite like the launch of the state quarter program in 1999. Over 34 billion quarters were minted across 50 unique reverse designs, but even in such huge numbers, certain issues became instant rarities. For instance, the 1999 Connecticut quarter with off-center errors or die cracks in the Charter Oak design are hot collector items. But it's the 2004 D Wisconsin quarter with the famous extra leaf high and extra leaf low varieties that dominate discussions. These varieties were caused by accidental die gouges that added an extra leaf to the cornstalk. Because they were discovered only in small quantities from Wisconsin, they skyrocketed in value, with high-grade examples selling for $1,000 to $2,500 each. Another stunning discovery came from Minnesota in 2005, the extra tree double die reverse quarter, where doubling around the trees on the reverse gave the illusion of an additional trunk. Depending on the strength of the doubling, these coins can range from $200 to $2,000, proving again that careful observation can transform a 25-cent piece into a small fortune. The 2009 District of Columbia and U.S. Territories quarters also produced exciting mint errors, such as the Guam quarter with partial cladding missing, revealing its copper core, a feature that can fetch hundreds of dollars. Then came one of the most thrilling modern innovations, the 2019 W. Washington Quarter Series. For the first time in U.S. mint history, quarters were struck at the West Point Mint with a distinctive W mint mark and released into circulation. Each design had a limited run of only 2 million coins, making them modern rarities right from the start. Designs included Lowell, American Memorial Park, War in the Pacific, San Antonio Missions, and River of No Return. The excitement they generated was enormous. Collectors began hunting through rolls and change jars nationwide. The 2019 W quarters in uncirculated condition regularly sell between $30 and $200, but high-grade MS-68 examples have achieved auction prices exceeding $1,000. What's more, errors among these W mint quarters, such as die cracks, cuds, and strike-through errors, have added another layer of desirability. Even more remarkable was the introduction of the 2020 W quarters, which featured a V75 privy mark honoring the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. These coins are especially important historically and visually, and because of their low mintage, they quickly became collector favorites. A 2020 W Salt River Bay quarter in MS-67 with a strong strike sold for over $500, and PR70 silver proof. Washington quarter in your pocket change. Take a moment to look closely. Check the mint mark, the date, the fine details on Washington's portrait, and the reverse design. You might just be holding a rare variety or era coin worth far more than 25 cents. Coin collecting is not only about money, it's about connecting with history, and the Washington Quarter perfectly captures that timeless pursuit of discovery and appreciation. Thanks for watching.